So something that I hear a lot is, can Star Wars be saved? And I'm I don't think I'm as down on things as a lot of people are. And I'm not throwing shots at people that are down on these things, saying that, everything's like irredeemable now. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I think that Star Wars can be saved, but it would take a Herculean effort by a lot of people in order for that to happen. Because the second that Disney bought Star Wars, I think everything changed for the worse. Now, Star Wars Rebels was not terrible, but anybody who was anybody should have known when the new movies were like officially announced that things were going to be bad. But we just did like I think considering that most people that I talked to in this sphere were they're a few years older than me, and we were all still kids when the sequels came out, and I think we were all hyped for The Force Awakens because it had been 10 years since we had gotten a, Star Wars movie, like a theatrical release. And The Force Awakens, like upon your first watch, you like it, but then you realize they're just copying A New Hope. And then Rogue One comes out, an incredible movie. But another thing is too is that there's something that just personally I think gets severely overlooked, and it's the fact that Disney Plus was, I think, announced in 2018. And Disney Plus, I think, is really to blame for like a lot of this because they felt like they had to put content on Disney Plus. And after the after the backlash that the Last Jedi got, deservedly so, Disney were too much of bitches to try to um continue with that story thread, so they just basically made the anti Last Jedi movie, and they literally went with like the worst possible option that you could possibly do, I guess, to consider it like, a safe option. And like it was a whole lot of bullshit, but like basically what happened was that Disney went into panic mode. They made The Rise of Skywalker. That got massive backlash. Then the same year, The Mandalorian came out, and The Mandalorian was a smash hit. Disney knew they were printing money with, you know, Grogu. Everyone was obsessed with, Baby Yoda. Like people that I know in my personal life that had never seen a Star Wars movie were like, so who's this, Baby Yoda guy? And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And quite truthfully, I think that the possibility of saving Star Wars could have been through The Mandalorian. And then Andor was a pretty good show too. Um Solo was okay, it wasn't great. But when Star Wars, I think personally, really fell apart. Everything fell apart after Mando season 2. The Book of Boba Fett, first of all, disrespected Boba Fett as a character. Secondly, became Mando season 2.5. That's literally what it was. And then Grogu gets back with Mando Book of Boba, so that would have been jarring if someone had seen the end of Mando season 2 and then you go right to Mando season 3 and Grogu's back with Mando, or and sorry, Grogu's back with Mando, like what, like to any casual viewer they would be for, given for thinking, wait a second, what happened here? Why in God's name is Baby Yoda back with Mando again? And so they Star Wars had to appease Disney Plus. They had to keep pumping out content for Disney Plus. It went Book of Boba, then we got Kenobi, which shattered on Kenobi as a whole, ruined Obi-Wan, and he stopped using the Force and all of that stupid garbage. That one was terrible. They basically made it the Riva show halfway through, and Riva's not even interesting. And also, something that is stupid too is that now it seems like everybody has survived Order 66, which takes away from the impactful scene in The Revenge of the Sith where Jedi get capped during Order 66, which just ruins everything. Sorry, I have to calm down a little bit. The thing that the thing that everybody thought was gonna save Star Wars was Dave Filoni, because Dave had worked on the Clone Wars, the one consistently great thing that we all loved as kids. He gets his own show, Ahsoka, and there's a couple of okay episodes in it, but he fumbles the bag. He fumbles the bag at the end, makes Sabine a Force user, does all that stupid shit, and then for some like weird reason, Anakin's in the world between worlds, but they never like explain why. Like they literally just wanted us to look at it, go, "Oh look, it's Hayden," and then be like, "Oh okay." And then they wanted us to like seal clap for it and just be like, "Yeah, this is cool. This is awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." And I think the way to save Star Wars, personally, this is just me, not even get rid of Dave Filoni. Listen, Jon Favreau's trying. Jon Favreau can only do so much. Jon Favreau, God bless his soul, I think he genuinely cares, and I think that Jon Favreau's trying. Jon Favreau can only do what he can do. Dave has full control. What you need to do is get rid of Kathleen Kennedy and put Tony Gilroy, the guy who made Andor, in charge. You put him in charge, you get Nick Gillard back in to help crispin the lightsaber fighting, which lightsabers should not feel like they're holding baseball bats because they're not holding baseball bats. They're holding literal swords with, lasers coming out of them. And I get sabers can be heavy, but they don't need to look like they're holding baseball bats because they're not holding baseball bats. Disney does not understand lightsaber physics. But you want to save Star Wars? It's not even all the political stuff. You want to save Star Wars, get people in Star Wars that don't see it as a money grab. Get people in Star Wars that care about the world and the lore and what George Lucas built. Otherwise, Star Wars is going to fail and it's going to be sad because I want my kids to grow up loving Star Wars like how I do and how many of us do. And if you agree with me, make sure to like and subscribe and join the fellowship. We're going to get Star Wars back, but we need your help. Until next time.